Hi everyone, I am the founder of the Grey Blind Owl. Today we are going to talk a little bit about operators and then learn how to get input from a user and use it. I will keep the operators at a fairly simple level so you do not get confused. Although operators are nothing new to learn, they are the editorial equivalent of mathematical operations we do in daily life. For the summing, we will use the plus sign. For the differentiation, we will use the minus sign. For the multiplication, we will use the star sign. For the division, we will use the slash. For the mod operation, we will use the percent sign. For the equality, we will use the equal sign. All the rules of everyday mathematics apply, although there are a few exceptions. In other words, conditions such as operation priority, parenthesis priority, distributive property are also valid here. For this reason, I will not detail the right to left reading features. Although this is not welcomed by some circles, it would not be right in my opinion to hold you responsible for such a thing at this stage. For this reason, I will ask you to write your mathematical operations in the same way you normally write them. Since we prefer the normal writing method, we will not be doing exercises on reading operators from right to left in the sample code. I will just give the basic rule we need to know and point out one exception. I am sure that you will improve your operator control in the simple but increasingly difficult tasks that I will give you in our upcoming lessons. If you have difficulty with the tasks I have given, you can download the sample code I shared in the previous lesson and have more detailed information about the use of operators from there. In C and many other languages, operations are performed from right to left. In other words, as in the example I will give, the right side is read first and replaced on the left side. Left side is equal to right side and semicolon. For example, temperature value is equal to 33 and semicolon. 33 will put into the temperature value. So right side will put into to the left side. Okay. If we are dealing with variables whose types do not match, we have to use type conversion. Float f result is equal to 0. Integer 1 is equal to 2, integer 2 is equal to 10 and semicolon. F result is equal to, in the parenthesis float, because their type is are integer 1 and integer 2, but our result is a float. Okay? So in the parenthesis float, integer 1 slash integer 2 semicolon is equal to f result. If we had not done that, we would not have seen the fraction. Okay? We would not have seen the fraction. 2 over 10 is equal to 0.2, but if we had not done that, we would not have seen the fraction. We will see 0. We will see 0 if we don't use that. You can see this in the last part of the code that I shared in the last lesson. Finally, I would like to mention some abbreviations. Not in all languages, but in C, if you want to increment or decrement one unit, you can use variable name, plus plus, and semicolon. For increment, instead of variable name is equal to variable name plus 1 semicolon. For decrement, variable name minus minus semicolon instead of variable name is equal to variable name minus 1 semicolon. I wanted to share it so you would not be surprised if I use it in this way, or if you come across it somewhere, or if you have already encountered it. Now, I would like to talk about our main topic, interactive programming. We learned data types and variables, but we put the values into the variables our own. Actually, this type of program cannot be called like a real program. We need user inputs. Now, we learn a simple function that is called scanf. After that, I will give you some tasks and you will be able to find the definitions of these tasks in the explanation section under the video. As you estimate, scanf supports us to get the input from the user. Usage, scanf, bracket, quotes, the person sign, the data type of our variable, quotes, comma, ampersand, variable name, bracket, and semicolon. We use ampersand to allocate storage at the memory for our variable. Ampersand means, hey compiler, I get an input from the user, so please allocate an address and keep it your mind. I get an input from the user, so please allocate an address and keep it your mind. So ampersand is necessary. Let's do a simple example. We ask to the user for two numbers, and after the user entered the numbers, we give the sum of the two numbers. This is our first interactive and handy program. Execute, compile and run. Okay. We include our library. Hashtag include bracket stdio.h and bracket. We create our main function. Integer, main, brackets, and the curly brackets. Now we define some integer variables. Integer number 1 for the first number. Integer number 2 for the second number. Integer sum is equal to 0 for the sum and the semicolon. We print what we want the user to enter for our program to the screen. Here, printf, bracket, quotes, hello user, I am a program that sums two numbers you entered, bracket and the semicolon. We ask for the first number here. Printf, bracket, please enter the first number, quotes, bracket, and semicolon. Now we get the number from the user. Our format, scanf, bracket, quotes, the person sign, the data type, quotes, comma, ampersand, variable name, bracket, and semicolon. And here, scanf, bracket, quotes, the person sign, d, our type, our variable type, number one's type, an integer, so d, quotes, comma, ampersand, number 1, the first number, bracket, and the semicolon. And we will enter here a number. So I will enter 35, for example. And I push the enter. Okay. We give the number to the compiler. We ask for the second number now. Printf, bracket, quotes, please enter the second number, quotes, bracket, and semicolon. Now we get the number from the user. Scanf, bracket, quotes, person sign, data type of our variable d, integer, quotes, a comma, ampersand, number 2 for the second number, bracket, and semicolon. Okay, I will enter 25 now. 25. As you can see, the sum of your two numbers 60 here. Here, the main operation of our program, we add the two numbers, we get sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2 and semicolon. Number 1 is equal to 35 here and here. Number 2 is equal to 25 here and here. Now sum is equal to 60 because right hand side is equal to 60, so we put into the left hand side sum. We print the result to the screen here. Printf bracket quotes, the sum of your two numbers is equal to $d sum. We print the sum to the screen here. The sum of your two numbers is equal to 60. Okay, we finish our program, return 0. That's it for this lecture. Now I will give you 3 tasks that I will add to the description part of the video. I want you to write these tasks from scratch yourself by Sunday next week. You can also find the code we wrote today in the description section. I think this code and the code we wrote in the previous lesson will be quite enough for your tasks. We will complete these 3 tasks in our next Sunday lesson. Thanks for your effort and patience. See you in the next lecture. Stay tuned.